Hello agents, in this video I'm going to show you a build that is raid ready for Operation Dark Hours. Before I go on, I should say that I've not actually completed Boomer yet. This is a build that we've just put a lot of research in over the weekend and that we're all working to get. Now before the raid I was doing a lot of content, a lot of the people I played with were helping me. We never really put together the best sort of builds. Like I had a sniper build that is useless for the raid, so come last Thursday we were just getting, we were finding it very difficult. And on Friday we tried again, it was the same. So I cancelled the weekend streams. I researched a build to put together. I throw in like a lot of notes and sent them to all my guys and said, look, this is everything that's relevant. What should we go with? Big shout out to Gavin, Ellen, Natasha, Raddy, and then Greg. Greg later came in, picked apart our build and gave us some even more improvements to make. And we came up with this, and this is going to be helpful, especially for anyone that's unsure what to do with the build. It is DPS, everything you're reading, the raid is DPS. You want as much DPS as you can get, as much damage to elites, and as much weapon damage. That's the sort of thing you're looking to create. But the build's also got to work, and you can add survivability in there as well. And this is what this build does. So I'm going to get into it. It's 2 Gilligard pieces, it's 2 Heroldi pieces, and it's 2 Fenris pieces. And what I'm aiming to do, the chest piece is what's important with the talent. Now the chest piece I've got on at the minute is Berserk, or you could have Unstoppable Force. So you're going to be building your build around one of those 2 talents. So I'm going to show you the build as it is now, which is built towards Berserk. And all of the attributes and how I've got them, they're there, and the pieces I'm using really are there to ensure that I could proc this. But not just this, it also needed to proc patience on my knee pads. So let's go through piece by piece. We've got the Gilligard mask. This is not perfect. It comes, the 2 Gilligard pieces come with total armor and hazard protection. The hazard protection is so underrated. Now with this mask, I could have had a number of masks. I chose Gilligard because of that hazard protection, and it's just so valuable, guys. I highly recommend it. Now you're gonna want hard hitting on there for the 10% damage to elites, and you need a defensive attribute and offensive attribute. So we're going to call them blue and red throughout the rest of this video. So you need a blue and a red. If it comes with anything different to that, as long as you got hard hitting on there, it's a good start. But aim to keep getting the perfect piece. Health on kill is not the best blue attribute. I'd love that to be some more hazard protection. Any blue attribute on this build, you want to have armor though if you can, but you can't get it on this mask anyway. That damage to elites is 28%, and that's pretty dreadful considering that can be 51% maxed out. So what I've got a mask with 43% damage to elites and mustache. The second I get a better Gilligard mask that will give me the blue attribute and hard hitting without me having to roll it, I can roll that 43% damage to elites on, giving me 15% more. So that's a big improvement coming to this build when I get it. The next piece there is the vest. So the Fenris group vest, 2 Fenris pieces, gives you assault rifle damage and protection from elites. I'm using my assault rifle for ad control. I'm using my LMG for boomer. I believe the LMG will come in useful throughout the rest of the raid, but the assault rifle is my favourite weapon, and with Berserk and your armor going down, it just hits hard, and it's so much better for ad control. Now, if you do want Berserk, you're going to need 2 red and 1 blue attribute on this chest. Headshot damage, weapon damage, and armor are the best 3 things to have, and as you can see, I've got them. You'll also be able to get a talent on this with Berserk, and that'll be hard hitting. Now, if you do want Unstoppable Force instead, the only thing you need to change about this build is the chest. So get yourself another Fenris chest, but instead of the 2 red and 1 blue, you want 2 blue and 1 red. Health and armor aren't the worst. I've got armor now, which is the main one, so health ain't the worst thing either. I'm not sure if you could have armor regen as well as armor. I'm not sure that works. But anything towards your armor, if you can, with that health would be better. And I got the weapon damage over the headshot damage, which I think again probably be better. It doesn't matter, as long as you got weapon damage or headshot damage, it's working towards this build. Crit hit chance and crit hit damage will be what you're not looking for, but Unstoppable Force is there and hard hitting is there. Now all I got to do is swap to this piece, and that's 6 out of 7 will change to 7 out of 7 because of the 2 blue that are here, and I can switch in and out of that whenever I want to. But I do like Berserk for ad control. Going to the holster, this isn't perfect at all. 2 Heroldi holdings come with accuracy and headshot damage. That headshot damage is great for this raid. The accuracy is great for the LMG as well. You'll see why in a minute. One thing that your holster does need to have is the blue attribute. Health on kill is not the best. Again, you'd want armor if the holster can have it. But it's got no talent either. There's one pair of Aroldi Holdings holsters that give you a talent too. You want that, and the talent you want is devastating or precise. Devastating is 5% weapon damage, and precise is 15% headshot damage. I'll be going with devastating just out of personal preference, but devastating or precise is absolutely fine on those on that holster when you do get it. I am running the Eroldi Holdings backpack. You do need the blue and the red attribute there. Armor I've got, which is great, and weapon damage. They're the two best that you can have. Safeguard isn't proccing. I don't want Safeguard. There's not many backpack talents that I would want. There is one though, which I forget what it's called. But what it does is if you use an armor kit, there's a chance you don't consume it. So the raid allows you to have two. It means if you use one, you could still have two afterwards, which is beneficial, but it doesn't affect any of your DPS. So don't worry too much if you can't get that talent. And like I said, I forgot what it's called. But it's got hard hitting on the backpack as well. But other than the safeguard, that is god rolled, and I'm very happy with it. The gloves, I've gone with Gilligard gloves. It's got the blue attribute and the red attribute that you need. Make sure that red attribute's LMG damage or assault rifle damage or any weapon you're going to be using the most of, I guess. But the LMG is great for Boomer, and that 8% damage will come in handy. I think that maxes out at 12. The blue attribute there is health. Again, if I can get armor on gloves, I'd rather add armor. And I've got the devastating talent there, 5% weapon damage. If you can't get devastating, precise is also good, which is the 15% headshot damage, which is the same as what we just discussed with the holster. And then finally the knee pads, I've gone with Fenris Group, and it's got the armor there, which is vital, and I've got hard hitting on it. It's also got patience. This is a god rolled knee pads really. I could probably get higher armor, but yeah, you're going to want hard hitting, you are going to want patience, and the way you set this up with all the attributes, you're going to have patience, you're going to have berserk proccing or unstoppable force if you've gone for that method instead. Now the mods on this aren't really that important unless they're offensive, so you can see there's a utility protocol mod there. Just throw anything in there, anything that you see that could actually work with your build. Put in like grenade damage. I've got, if I throw a grenade, it's going to increase that. I've not actually put anything on the chest, but that's another utility one. Then holster does come with offensive. Now offensive is great because you can find stuff like weapon damage, headshot damage, weapon handling as well even. So make sure you're filling out mods on your offensive slots. There's also an offensive slot on your backpack. So make sure that has something in it. Just improves your build slightly. The gloves go back to utility, and again they're not that important unless you can see something that helps your build. There's no real point. So all the mods that are available. If you have a quick look at the weapons, I'm running it the Black Market M60, which is an LMG, and it's got unhinged on it. So receive 20% weapon damage at a cost of 25% weapon handling. You'll see how I counteract that in a minute. It's very clever, and it doesn't really prove this talent's just awesome. It doesn't change much the weapon handling, and you're doing 20% more damage. It's got jazz hands there. I wouldn't want jazz hands. I'd want Allegro for the rate of fire, so I am looking for a better gun. Protected deploy, that doesn't really matter, but on this, while equipped, this weapon grants 10% bonus armor while deploying a skill. So actually that is quite good. Protected deploy is very good for this raid, so every time you put a skill down you're getting 10% bonus armor. But the third talent I wouldn't worry too much about. What we can do as well is have a look at the mods. You need to be doing level 3 control points to be unlocking mods that you don't have. This sight is awesome. I've got a EXPS 3 hollow sight, which is 8% damage to elites. You could also have the C79 scope, which is 5% damage to elites. Other than that, if you haven't got them, you're looking for like weapon handling improvements, so accuracy, stability, but the damage to elites above anything else. Going to this, we've got the Nimble Link Belt equipped, which is 5% rate of fire. The options I had there were stability, critical hit damage, and reload speed. I think the rate of fire is very important. If I couldn't have had that, I would have went reload speed. And then going on to this part, I've got the hand grip, which is a vertical grip giving me 10% accuracy. Again, I had the choice between stability, reload speed, and crit hit chance or damage. I've gone for a handling attribute, which is accuracy, just to help counter that minus 25% weapon handling I got there on Unhinged. And then the muzzle, if you're lucky, you'll have this muzzle break 7.62, which gives you 5% damage to elites, and you'll throw that on. If not, again, stability or accuracy will be your best bet. So they're the mods there. And on my assault rifle, I'm running a custom P416G3. It's got Ranger on it and Allegro, so I've got the rate of fire. And for every 5 meters I am from the target, I'm getting 2% extra weapon damage. I really do like that with ARs. It enables you to do some good damage from a distance. The mods I'm running on this, again, is the 8% damage to elites. I've got the extended mag with 10 rounds. There's a better extended mag you can find. I am a bit gutted I haven't got that. There's the 10% accuracy vertical grip and the damage to elites and muzzle break. Again, if you've not got them, just go for like weapon handling ones. That's the best you can do, really. With the sidearm, I've got the double barrel sawn off, and the one I got this recently, I forgot to put it on. The one you want would be this one, which has premeditated, distance, and then I want to roll, stop, drop, and roll on it, which is there. So what premeditated does on your sidearm, weapon damage is increased for every shell loaded to a max of 35%. If all shells are reloaded, then weapon damage is increased by additional 50%. Buff lasts for 10 seconds. That's just pretty good, especially if you're focusing Boomer, the first boss. You can use this shotgun on his chest quite easily, and you can also get some mega damage here if you get the 50% buff to his head as he goes on his knee, maybe, before switching to your LMG. It's just a good idea, just a side thought of a way you could use your sidearm better. The optimal range allows you to get that damage at a bit more of a distance, and the stop, drop, and roll works while you're not actually using the sidearm. And this is the main thing with this talent: while equipped, rolling removes burning, bleed, and poison status. So if you do get any of those statuses during the raid, just roll and you're sorted. It's a great tactic. And they're the guns. So we've been through the whole build. This is what I'm aiming to build. I'm going to work this week on improving it a little bit while I do Discord maintenance. And a week on Thursday, we will be back attempting the raid with a team that has a build kind of similar to this, I guess. What's important, what I'm going to be asking you guys is, what is your damage to elites? I'm going to want to know that. So on this build at the minute, I think I've got 81%. I'm looking in the wrong place. There it is. 81% damage to elites, and I've also got 42% all weapon damage bonus. There's some good stats. Once I get that 15% on the Masco, that goes up to 96% damage to elites. I've still got a bit of weapon damage to come as well with the holster, so that'll go up to 47, and I can still increase my LMG one as well, which will take that to possibly 10 or 12. And they're the sort of stats you want to be looking at. My armor is 250,000, so I'm not that spongy. Some people were running around this week with about 210,000 and are saying they're finding it very hard to stay up. So you do need to get your armor up a bit with your blue attribute rolls, so I hope you get lucky there. But what's also important about this build I put together is the specialization you're going to use. We'll have a quick look at that now. It is the sharpshooter, and the reason for that is just some of the perks that you get. Now, some people are going to be asking now, why aren't I running a Petrov chest piece or something to get the 10% LMG damage? They'll be asking, why aren't I running Demolitionist to get the LMG damage? The reason being is that the way I've built my build, by taking off the Petrov piece, I believe I only actually lost about 3% LMG damage, but gained so much more for the build. And then without the Demolitionist on, Sharpshooter really increases my handling, so Unhinged on that LMG doesn't really mean that much. But there's some other stats we're going to look at, and the first one is the headshot damage. So with Sharpshooter you get 25% increased headshot damage if this is all filled out, and that's fantastic against Boomer. So with that LMG right up close to his head, that extra 25% headshot damage, you were doing so much more damage. So that's one plus. The other plus is this: 30% increased weapon stability, reduced recoil, and faster reacquisition of targets. Again, Unhinged reduces your weapon handling from 25%, so this automatically cancels that out, which is brilliant. And just coming down here, we've got this this perk, all group members that are closer to enemies than you get 10% headshot damage. So say Boomer goes down to his knee and a lot of your teammates are in front of you, they're all getting better headshot damage on him. On top of what they've already got, if they've built their builds like this as well, that's an insane amount of damage, which means you're going to be doing more damage to Boomer. And then there's one more, and it's this one here, Vital Protection. Reduce the chance you're critically hit in conflict by 20%. So you're reducing your crit hits against you with that. So it's just perfect. It adds for more survivability, improves your weapon handling, and yeah, you want to use that with this build. Now, to finish this video, we're just going to go and show you the numbers, because this is something else that I'd ask. Like when we get around to helping people, I'll be asking you for your numbers, and I'll be asking you, what are you hitting here when you change this to elite? So not even elite, change it to named. And you want to be hitting in the head with your LMG around about, I'm going to say 120k per bullet. You'll notice I'm doing 115. So for every one bullet I'm doing 115, and that's not bad with where I'm at, but that's going to be improved once I do make the improvements to my build. I'm aiming for around 130. The AR isn't doing too bad. Remembering this ain't really an AR build, but even when I'm controlling ads, I'm doing 63 to the head, on body shots, so critting at 81. So the AR is doing some good damage for ad control too, but that's why I also got Berserk over Unstoppable Force, because Berserk is so OP, and even though it's been nerfed, it still feels good. So Berserk is great if you're running an AR for ad control. So there are those numbers there at the firing range, and I think that is it. Thank you for watching the video. I had a lot of requests to put this out. I may have already mentioned it, but we're going to be back attempting the raid in another week's time, and we're going to have a week off it while I can do Discord maintenance. We will be streaming tonight, so when this goes live, check our stream out later, because we're going to be grinding for some of these builds and be talking about it. We'll answer your questions, be a bit more engaging tonight, because like last week we've been very, very focused. So jump in if you want to chat. But again, thank you for watching this video. I hope it does help you if you're unsure on a build. Until the next video, peace out.